Okay, hi guys, how you doing? This is it. Welcome to week 8. Okay, what do we got going on in week 8? Let's go ahead and take a look. Let's preview the overview for the week, and we can see that it's basically we're just going to be finishing up the presentation. But I want you to take a look at this overview, but it kind of grounds us back to what is the intent of design itself, and why are we trying to communicate using sign and symbol, and what is the relevance to the target audience that we're trying to communicate to. So we're stepping back a little bit, back to like week 1 and week 2, when we kind of started taking a look at the meaning of semiotics and sign and symbol, and the meaning behind communicating with sign and symbol in order to transcend cultural and language barriers, as it were. So I think it's important to kind of take a step back and take a look at that. So go ahead and do that. It's a good little overview. It only takes a second. But this is there's a couple of things here I really want you to take a look at. Let's see, this is a good one. This is the presentation for week 8. And definitely take a look at this. I know it's going to be really easy to try to just jump right into your design and keep on working on your design. I'll talk about that in a second, but I want you to take a look at this. This is a presentation, stepping in front of the back-end execution, aka the trap. So what does this mean? It means that the way that we look at communication, and the way that remember that one discussion board where we said we were talking about missed opportunities, and Vignelli says that, and Armin Hoffman also both say that the way to really compelling design is through discovering and defining your missed opportunities. And of course, this has to be done during the design process, because once the design process is done, you can't go back and look. Well, you can. You can go back and look at missed opportunities, but you can't change them. So this is why it's so important throughout the design process to take a look at missed opportunities. So this is kind of like an overview of how to really apply this to your design work. This guy, boy, you're in for a treat. This is fantastic. This might be one of the better TED Talks I've seen ever. And I watch a lot of TED Talks. I know you guys do too, and that they're here in the class. There's a few of them that we've been looking at throughout the weeks. And this one is a real treat. This one and that Sagmeister, those were great ones, but definitely watch this one. It's fantastic. Really good speaker here too. Interesting stuff. And then it goes back into kind of taking a look back at the design process, and why are we doing it? How do we approach this? And what are we doing as designers? Are we just making mark, or are we really trying to change the way that people look at communication, and how we can affect communication on a worldwide stage as designers by simply looking at our design and looking at the big picture, and how do I effectively communicate to my audience, as opposed to maybe designing for selfish reasons, or maybe trying to express your own artistic identity through design. And a lot of these things are things that we think of as student designers. We think of, well, I'm supposed to do that. But as you grow and develop as designer, we realize that design is about communication. It's not about us. We're just the mode of transmittal. We are the transference of information. We are not here to say, okay, I'm an artist and I'm going to show my art through my design. And you know what? If your design is beautiful, that's amazing. That's beautiful. That's a wonderful thing. But as designers, we're not here to express our, we're not here to express our artistic abilities, we're here to communicate a message for a client. Okay, that's really important stuff to remember moving forward. Okay, so where are we? It's basically more of the same, guys. This week, we're just going to tighten up that presentation. And I do want to mention something now. Those of you who have, you know what? We have the discretion contributes to the field of design. Take a look at that. That's self-explanatory. I like you guys to go ahead and kind of develop your own meaning there. So I kind of like to leave these alone and let you guys kind of go in that in your own. And and create your own meaning based on what your interpretations of what the discussion is actually asking for. So self-explanatory there. And then we have the critique, and we have, of course, our final course evaluation. So final presentation due, okay? Same thing, guys. So I'll just open this up and take a look at it. But basically, here's what we have. Begin the final phase of your project. We're required to write a story presenting all of your work and your findings. Really sell us on why your city is worth hosting, and visit the provided links past students' work to get the idea of what is expected. Your final presentation should be similar to student works. Many are 20 or more pages in length. Now, what does this mean? This means that you're required to write a story presenting all of your work and findings. So that means this, guys. That means don't just show us, okay, your logo, and then your logo on a wall, and then your logo on a coffee cup. This requires a story. This is phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3, of course, is design development. So don't forget phase 1, info research, phase 2, conceptual design, and then phase 3, design development. So again, don't just show your logo and put it on things and say, this, you have to tell a story, which means you have to include all of your research from phase 1, okay? It's clearly indicated in those examples. And again, week 7, this guy right here, I hate to harp on this because I show this a lot, and I have been showing it a lot, and I use it quite a bit, for example, but it's probably the best presentation I've seen while teaching this class, and it's Santiago right here. So please, guys, please go through this. There's nothing wrong with looking at this. That's why we have it here. We have it here for your inspiration, and so that you can take a look at it and get some ideas of really how a compelling narrative, a compelling story, a cadence, timing, the whole thing culminates into a beautiful story. Okay, that's why I share this so much. So please don't hesitate to look at that. Now, the one thing I want to mention before I'm going to wrap this up, I don't want to take too much of your time, but I do want to mention this. Those of you who post early to critique board for phase 4, for week 7 critique project phase 4, you will agree with me. I know you will. All of you will. That, well, let's jump in there. I want to show you guys something. Let's jump into class discussion, and I just want to show you guys something. And this is directly relevant to week 8. Okay, so if we take a look at week 7, we have David's first submission. Okay, my response. David's second submission. Okay, my response. David's third submission. Okay, so David's working and he's getting immediate feedback. Okay, Brian, the same thing. Okay, and I'm just talking about the people who have reposted. Shelby reposted. Okay, and then the people who reposted are showing superior results. Why do I bring this up, guys? I bring this up because I want you. I'm here. All right, you guys know me by now. I'm not afraid to jump in here and do some work. I mean, I'm in every day. And if you're working, I'm working. And that's my promise. I don't know if you guys remember back in week 1, but I told you that was my promise. If you're working, I'm working. So if you want to submit 5 times in 1 week, I'll critique 5 times in 1 week. And again, that was my promise from week 1. And I'm sure David will attest to that. And I'm sure Shelby will attest to that. And the others who have been reposting their work for better results. And this is only the critique. They haven't even put their final in for the week yet, okay? The reason I'm saying this is because this is proof positive that critique works, okay? So the results from David's first and last submission are night and day, superior results. And the same with everyone who has posted more than once in this. So the critique is working. It's definitely working. And I want you, the only reason I bring this up is I want you guys to take advantage of it, especially in week 8. This is it, guys. So week 8, definitely, if you want to post early, please do, because I guarantee you I'll be able to make your presentation more effective. I promise you that. I mean, I'm fully confident in that. And don't forget, another thing I said back in week 1 is I teach toward portfolio. So I'm not going to give you tips and tricks to just make this presentation look cool. I'm going to teach you how and why you're doing what you're doing and why it helps and why it's going to make you a better designer in the long run. Okay, so take advantage of it, guys. Post early. Okay, in so many words, I guess what I'm saying is, yeah, it's post early. I really appreciate that if you did. I've had a great class. I've loved this class. You guys are fantastic as a group, and I've really enjoyed the class. I'm going to miss you guys, and I'm going to miss the class. So, any questions, comments, concerns moving forward? You know I'm right here. All right, guys. I'll see you in class. Thanks.